You have to declare two-dimensional array. That is storage type, but storage type is optional. If you declare the array inside the main function or any function, then storage type is optional one. Then is what? Data type. Then name of the array. Then size of the first subscript, that is first dimensional array. Then specify the size of second dimension of the array. Okay, that is also specified. What this, if you take two-dimensional example of two-dimensional array, mostly two-dimensional arrays are used for representation of matrix. Okay, because matrix having two dimensions, that is number of rows and number of columns. Clear? So if it is 2 by 2, then 2 rows and 2 columns. Okay, like that. This is actually representation, graphical representation. First element in that array is stored here. Second here. Third and fourth. Okay, this is 2 by 2 matrix. Then, okay, this is called as declaration of the array. Next thing is how to initialize the two-dimensional array. We can initialize two-dimensional arrays statically as well as dynamically. Statically means prior at the compile time we can specify the elements in that particular array. Then we can call it as a static initialization of two-dimensional array. Or we can initialize the two-dimensional array at the runtime dynamically. That is, we can take the values from users, okay, at the runtime and initialize the two-dimensional array. Okay, so basically how we can initialize the two-dimensional arrays statically. Okay, so let's see. Initialization, that is, we have to specify the values. Okay, total how many elements are there in the two-dimensional array? 2 by 2. That is, total 4 elements are there. Okay, we can store 4 elements into that two-dimensional arrays. Okay, so how to initialize? Equal to curly bracket. Similarly, one-dimensional array. Okay, we can specify 1, 2, 3 and 4. These 4 elements. This is first notation or first initialization of two-dimensional array. We have to initialize two-dimensional array statically by this way. Clear? So first element 1 is stored at the index 0, 0. Here also in two-dimensional array, index starts from 0th location. Okay. So first element 1 is stored at the location 0, 0. Second element is stored at the location 0, 1. Third element is stored at the location 1, 0. Fourth element is stored at the location 1, 1. Clear? Okay. If you specify more element in that curly bracket, we can specify, but it is not in use. Because what is the drawback of array in C language? Compiler or runtime environment does not specify the overflow or underflow of array. Maybe one-dimensional or two-dimensional or multi-dimensional. Clear? Compiler or runtime environment does not recognize the elements are overflows. If we add more elements in that array, fifth element, okay, it does not use any syntactical error, but it is overflow or underflow. Okay, does not recognize by the C compiler and runtime environment. But in Java, .NET, okay, these are also programming languages. In that, strictly bound checking. Array bound checking is strictly, and if we can exceed the elements in the array, then it gives you syntactical errors in Java.NET. But in C language, array overflow and underflows does not strictly find by your compiler. Okay, that is the one drawback of C language. So care should be taken that you have to mention elements as per the array size. Clear? This is one type. Okay, second type of initialization, that is if you don't, okay, 2 by 2 array is there. So second type, how we can initialize the array? Using first row elements. Okay, using curly brackets. 1, comma 2. These are the elements of first row. Comma, elements of second row, that is 3, comma 4. Okay, so this is the second notation to initialize the two-dimensional array. This first square bracket, curly bracket, gives you first row. These are the elements of first row, and these two are the elements of second row. Clear? This is the notations. So this is also valid in C. This is also valid notation. Clear? Third, suppose we don't specify the size of two-dimensional array, first subscript as well as second subscript. We don't specify the size. Okay, and enter the elements. Is it valid? Okay, it is valid for one-dimensional array. If it is one-dimensional array, integer a subscript, we cannot specify the size here. Then it does not gives you any syntactical error. Compiler does not raise any syntactical error because it is valid in C language. Clear? Is it valid? Yes. It is valid in one-dimensional array because compiler counts the number of elements in that curly bracket. If it is 3, then it automatically sets size as a 3. It is done by compiler. Okay, but here what happens if we specify 4 elements and does not specify size in both subscript? Okay, mostly first subscript gives you number of rows and second subscript size gives you number of columns. Okay, it is fixed. First subscript gives you number of rows and second subscript gives you number of columns for representation of your matrix. Clear? If you does not specify size of both rows as well as columns, that is first subscript as well as second, is it valid in two-dimensional array? No. Okay, because think on that. How compiler knows how user wants that first row contains how many elements? There are 4 elements. Okay, but compiler does not interpret the meaning of that. Okay, actually how many rows? Is it 3? If it is 4, then here 1. This is the interpretation. If compiler interpret like that, then what is the problem? 4 rows and 1 column. How many elements? 4. Or he may interpret like 2 by 2 also. Means there is a ambiguity. Compiler does not understand exactly because what is user's prediction? How many size user wants? He does not predict. Clear? Understand? What is the meaning? So if in two-dimensional or any multi-dimensional array there is no size specified for both subscript in two-dimensional particularly, then it gives you errors. You have to check it. At the time of practicals, you have to check whether it gives you error or not. Okay, so it is a invalid. This is invalid notation for initialization of two-dimensional array. Okay. Then next, if we specify, suppose, okay, this is my initialization of two-dimensional array, where I have to mention size of second subscript, but I have not specified size of first subscript operator. So, what is your interpretation? Is it valid?
Yes.
Is it valid?
Yes.
Yes, it is valid because compiler knows that there are
Two columns.
two columns. And how many rows? How many elements are there? 4. So he directly calculates that
2 rows.
2 rows are there on the basis of number of columns. So this is a valid notation. Valid notation. Clear? Any doubts? Okay. So fifth way of the initialization of two-dimensional arrays, A then gives the size of first subscript, that is number of rows, and initialize the array. Is it valid? Is it valid? Is it valid? If I write 3, is it valid? No, it is not valid. That is invalid initialization of two-dimensional array. Why? Because if you know the number of rows, suppose 3, okay, but how many elements in each column? How many elements in each row? We cannot predict it. Okay, we cannot predict it because it gives you ambiguous result. So only valid notation is if you know the number of columns and optional is rows, then it is valid. But other two types, it is invalid. Clear? But in one-dimensional array, if you don't specify any size and initialize the array, not only declare, it gives you error. If it is only declared, then it gives you syntactical error. But when you initialize the one-dimensional array without any size, then it is valid in C language. Clear? Okay? Got the difference between initialization at the time of compilation, static initialization of that. Okay? We can initialize the array statically. Clear? Any doubts? Okay. So next point is how to initialize the two-dimensional array dynamically. That is, we can take the values from user dynamically. That is at the runtime. Clear? Basically, again, what is the memory management? Suppose there is a matrix or two-dimensional array of 2 by 2 size. That is 2 number of rows, 2 number of columns. Okay, runtime we have to enter value 5, 10, 9, 20. Okay, so how memory management is there? Memory get managed like that and the square bracket? No, because we know here is a RAM. Okay. So this element, suppose name of the array is A. First element is at the 0, 0. Second element at the 0, 1. Third element at the index 1, 0. And fourth element at the index 1, 1. Clear? Clear. So how this memory management is actually happening on the RAM? So on the RAM, here A 0, 0, this is first element, 0, 1, this is second element, 1, 0, third element, and 1, 1, this is fourth element, and all elements are allocated in the contiguous memory locations. Salam. Clear? Continuous memory location. So this file is stored actually here, 10, 9 and 20. These elements are actually inserted like that on the RAM. RAM is not divided into matrix. Okay, all elements are arranged sequentially manner and memory areas are allocated take contiguous. For example, if this location first is the address 100, so second element's address is 102. Third element's address is 104. 6. Clear? We predict it. If you know base address of the array, then we can predict value of any element. Okay, we want to display value of third element or element in the second row, first column, that is index of 1 0. Then we can directly print it. Whatever may be the element, we can directly print it. Okay, clear? This is the memory management regarding two-dimensional array. That is, any dimensional array, when it is represented on the RAM, it is represented in the one-dimensional manner. It is similar to one-dimensional array manner. Clear? So first row, then second row, then third row, like that. Clear? Okay. So two-dimensional array is also called as array of array. Is also called as array of array, because this is the first array of one dimensional. Then after that we have to add second array of one dimensional. Array of array. Clear? So how to scan the elements of two-dimensional array at the runtime. So how to initialize the two-dimensional array at the runtime. So take the example. Start from void main. Next, integer, name of the array, then specify the size 2 by 2 centimeters. Okay. While displaying one-dimensional array or while scanning the elements in the one-dimensional array dynamically, we can use loops. Okay, we can use loops for that. Any loop, for loop, while loop, do while. Mostly we use for loop because it is beneficial. Okay, where there is initialization, condition, increment, decrement at the same loop. So we can use for loop most of times. But you can use any loop, while or do while, no doubt. Clear? So in two-dimensional array, while initializing the array, scanning the elements from the user, we want two loops. One loop for number of rows and second loop for scanning number of columns. Outer loop gives you number of rows and inner loop gives you number of columns. Clear? For that purpose, we have to change the dimensions of the two-dimensional array as a 3-2. So you can clarify. Okay, good. That is, number of rows are 3 and number of columns are 2. So here A of 2 0, A of 2 1. Okay, suppose specify number of rows 3. Okay, number of rows 3, number of columns 2. Clear? So this is graphical representation, but actually memory management is like this, one-dimensional array, Okay, so next part is how to scan the elements in this two-dimensional array dynamically using scanf function. But for that, it is easy. For example, scanf %d for scanning one integer value at a time. But where to store the first element? Suppose we can scan the first element and store it at the location. Which location? A of 0 0. So use ampersand for scanning. Then name of the array. Then 2. This is the subscripts. 2 subscripts. First gives you number of rows. Second gives you number of columns. So we have to scan first element. So we have to write 0 0. Okay, so whatever may be, when your program get running, this after running this scanf statement, cursor blinks for scanning first integer value and stored at the location address of 0 0. But how many times we can write this statement? 6 times. Address of a of 0 1 like that. Okay, but it is okay. But if array size is more, 100 by 100 array, then total 10,000 elements are there. So at that time, for each element it is useful? No, we can write 10,000 statements for that scanning statement. No, for that what we use?
Loops.
Clear? For that what we use? Loops. So understand the exact meaning. First loop gives you number of rows. Second loop gives you number of columns. So how to scan it? For this is first for loop, second for loop. First make the structure semicolon, 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 semicolon. This is our structure. Then curly bracket. Clear? In that curly bracket, this scanf statement is there. Now we cannot fix 0, 0, because every time when loop get executed, that element scan at the and store the value at the A00. That is, we have to change. It is dynamically, so it is must be variables, not the constant. So first initialize. Suppose I take one variable integer I and j. Integer I for number of rows and j for number of columns. So start initialize. What is the index? Always 0. Then I less than equal to number of columns, number of rows. Now how many number of rows? 3. But index starts from 0. So I less than equal to 2. If there is no equal to, then you can write 3. Then I plus plus. Next j is equal to 0. That is column. Number of columns. Number of columns are 2. So j less than equal to 1 and j plus plus. Okay. Next, scan it. Scan the value and store it at the address of A R. That is number of whatever may be the current row number, and j, that is number of row column. Clear? So how it get executed now? This current for loop, inner for loop is completed, then outer for loop is completed. Clear? And next step is display that elements in the matrix from on the console. For displaying, we have to use again 2 loops. Okay, this is scanning purpose. Now displaying purpose. So use 2 for loops again. For I equal to 0, I less than equal to 2, I plus plus, same curly bracket. Then inner for loop, j is equal to 0, j less than equal to 1, j plus plus. Next, display. Okay, so display, for displaying, printf %d /t for tab. So 4 spaces are there in between that. Then what? Where a of ij, whatever may be the element at the ij element, print. Then first for loop is completed. That is always I is equal to 0 for first iteration. Here I is equal to 0 and 0 to 2 is executed. After that, this inner for loop is completed. That means one row is printed. After that, second row is printed. For that, we have to printf /n for next line. First row's elements are printed. So after executing inner for loop, printf /n, that is next line. We have to come in and the next line, then complete the outer for loop, and then get ch and complete the main function. Okay, so now how it executed? First, memory management, I and j, and this is memory management. Okay, for ij separate memory location is there. For total, what is the array name? that is just array name gives you base address. Whatever may be the base address, just A gives you base address, that is 100 for this case. Clear? So how it executes? Now I is equal to 1. That is here 0. Previously all these locations having garbage value because they are stored on the stack partition. Next condition 0 less than equal to 2, condition true. Then inner for loop, okay, how it executes. Then inner for loop, j is equal to 0. So j is equal to 0. Next condition j less than equal to 1. J is now currently 0, less than equal to 1, condition true. So next statement, scanf. Now percentage d, that is, this is your console part, cursor is blinking here. Okay, suppose you enter 9 and press enter key. That 9 value is now stored at the address of A of, what is the value of I? 0, 0. So whatever may be the 9 value is stored now at the location A of 0, 0. Next curly bracket over, so how it flows goes to j plus plus. Now cursor goes to j plus plus. What is j plus plus?
1.
0 plus 1, that is 1. Now check the condition, 1 less than equal to 1, condition true. Now scanf statement, percentage d, cursor blinks on this. Okay. Next, what? Ampersand of A of, what is I value of I? 0, same, only j is now 1. So whatever you type here, suppose 10, press enter, that 10 value is stored here at the location A of 0, 1 on your RAM. Clear? Next, what is next? J plus plus. So what the value of j now? It becomes 2. 2 less than equal to 1. Condition false. Okay, now condition get false. So no entry in that for loop. So cursor goes to outside of that for loop. So what is there? Curly bracket of outer for loop. So if there is outer curly bracket of outer for loop, then cursor goes to I plus plus. Clear? So what is I plus plus now? 0 plus 1. So it becomes 1. So again 1 less than equal to 2, condition true. Then cursor goes to similar now. J is equal to 0. So now j's value becomes 0. Next is the condition checking, 0 less than equal to 1, condition true. Next scanf, percentage d. So cursor get blink here. Whatever may be the value you scan, suppose 7, press the enter. Then that 7 value is stored at the address of A of 1, 0. So 1, 0. So what is 7 is stored at the 1, 0. Next curly bracket over inner curly bracket. So cursor goes to j plus plus. Now j plus becomes 1. Then 1 less than equal to 1, condition true. Then next scanf, percentage d, comma, ampersand of A of 1, 1. So what is value? Suppose 6 is stored here at the address location A of 1, 1. Next is j becomes now 2. 2 less than equal to 1, condition false. Cursor goes out of that for loop. So what is next? Next curly bracket. It is outer for loop curly bracket. So again cursor goes to the I plus plus. So I plus plus becomes 2. 2 less than equal to 2, condition true. So again j is equal to 0. Okay. Then 0 less than equal to 1, condition true. Then scanning, suppose 5 is stored at the location 2, 0. Where? 2, 0. Okay. Then j plus plus, that means 1, then 1 less than equal to suppose 4, next condition false, then again outer for loop, that is I plus plus, what is I plus plus now? 3. So 3 less than equal to 2, condition false. So this for loop get over, so cursor goes out of that for loop. So next is the next for loop. Okay, so similar way we have to now print it. Clear? So always inner for loop is executed, and inner for loop, what it does, either it prints or scan one complete row. Okay, when complete row is completed, then it goes to the next row. So outer for loop is used for number of rows. If number of rows 4, as per the condition, you can change it condition. If the number of columns is that, change. It depends on. So first subscript gives you number of rows, second subscript gives you number of columns. Clear? Understand? So next practical you have to solve this problem. Scanning from user, that is dynamically, and displaying that array. Only that. We will stop now.